Here we are in an empty caravan. Time to try and work out how everything is going to fit inside. Welcome to Fianyo's Reno Show. I've decided to use 3D modelling in Sketchup to try and work out how everything is going to fit inside the van and all of the shapes that it needs to be, especially to fit in these curves and that sort of thing. So I jumped on the computer and I modelled up the van pretty accurately with all the curves and the bumps and the weird angles and all of that stuff. I was very careful to try and get it as accurate as I could, and I got it pretty close. So now that I've got a 3D model of the van, now it's time to start working out how do the cabinets fit in and how am I going to build them. And it's much easier to do this in 3D because I pick up all the mistakes I'd normally make if I was doing it in real life. And it's a lot cheaper to fix it in the 3D than it is to redo it in real life. Plus you can have a look at what you're doing and just see, does it look okay? Is it a bit awkward? Do I need to center things? That sort of stuff. So I'm able to do that in the 3D model, which makes things a lot easier. So here we are with the interior completely finished, ready to be fitted out. All the windows, doors, hatches, etc. in the right spot. Well, hopefully they're in the right spot. One of the important things to get right as we figure out the layout is the location of the toilet. I can't adjust that like I can with a lot of the other furniture. I can sort of shuffle it left and right a bit, but the toilet has to go exactly where the hatch is on the outside. So that's going to really govern a lot of the other design we can do in here. So I'll get that right and I'll measure exactly from the end of the floor where that's going to go, and that's going to help designing the rest of the van around it. Okay, so this is our cassette in the toilet. It needs to be able to just slide straight out of the hatch, which it does. It won't come out now because I think there's something stopping it from coming out. But this also needs to be able to swing out and have enough clearance, which it doesn't quite at the moment. So we might just have to shuffle the toilet forward slightly. And I think there will be fine. I do want the toilet as far back as I can get it, just to have more room in the kitchen. But I think this is as far back as realistically we can go without that fouling on the hatch there. And this is still fine to come out. So the toilet's got to go there. I'm going to go inside, mark it up and measure it. So the back of the toilet's going to determine where the wall of our toilet goes, because it needs to obviously be pushed back against the wall. So the toilet can go there. I'm going to measure this distance from the edge of the floor because there's not a lot of fixed points in this van. And I know that I've really built the 3D model from the floor up. So I know the floor's right, and if I stick to the floor measurement, then I should get this one right as well. Behind me is the little fridge that originally came with our caravan. We're going to reuse the fridge because it works and it saves us buying a new one. So the size of it is quite important because it actually dictates the other side of the bathroom, really how big our bathroom can be. So I'll need this size pretty accurately. If this ever stops working in the future, which, you know, it's pretty old, it's be as old as the van at least, we'll just get a similar size modern fridge to fit in its place. But for now, we'll use this one, so I better measure it up accurately. We also, here behind me, have a microwave to measure because that's going to dictate the size of some of the overhead cupboards. So I'll need to get that size while I'm here too. A couple more things to measure, one of which being the slimline batteries I've got. I'm hoping to fit them under the seat, in between the wheel arch and the seat. But I'll measure them and see if it fits in the 3D model. Next up is the sink, particularly the depth of the sink. I want to make sure how far it drops down below the bench so I can work out the cupboards underneath. And of course the diameter of the bowl. Quite a large sink. Fee got this larger one. I would prefer a larger one. We're not sure how well it's going to fit, but that's the beauty of 3D modeling. We can put it in place and see if it's going to work. And finally, I think finally, unless I can think of something else I need to measure, we have the hot water cylinder. So I want to make sure I get the right size. I've just remembered this also needs a hatch through the outside. and I thought we were done with hatches, but hey, what's another hatch between friends? So I've got to measure the size of the water heater and how deep it is to try and squeeze it in. Hopefully we're going to squeeze it in the cupboard next to the toilet. We'll find out in the 3D model. So here we have the finished product with everything inside. So let's have a look inside here. Take the wall off, and you can see we've got everything in place, kind of hopefully exactly where it needs to go. And we've got our toilet here in the right spot, whoops, and that's dictated the walls here, which has given us our kitchen. We've got our kitchen sink in there, and if we have a look down the back, we've got our beds in the right spot here, the right length hopefully, and batteries go in here. The water heater goes behind here, so you can see that white thing there's the water heater poking out through the side here. All the overhead cupboards in, the microwave just fits in, so I was just able to squeeze it in there, and everything's looking good. So this is what it should look like when we're finished with all the cabinetry. So yeah, a lot easier to build it here. I mean, this did take me quite a while to do, but it's going to pay off, because instead of trying to sort of measure in the air, I can just do measurements from here, and it should pretty much fit in the van because I got everything really close dimension wise. So yeah, that's the plan. So what I might try and do is up this end behind me. The front of the van is empty at the moment, but I'm going to use the power of virtual reality, and let's change that view to my 3D model. And then again, we'll try the view behind me, we'll change it to the 3D model, and you can see what it's going to look like. So that's just a little look into the design process of the caravan. Hope you enjoyed a glimpse into how we are hoping to put it together. Now all that's left to do is to actually build the thing. Thanks for watching.